Hello, hello, hello. Let me get some tunes going here. Alright. Hi, everyone. So Ethan plays for Sarah here. I have just been jonesing. Not in a video game way, but essentially in a gaming way for a different kind of game. One of my previous passions over the last couple of years, and especially while Sarah was around, solo RPGs. So, Twitch doesn't really have a lot of these posted. Very famous ones, probably the most famous one, 1,000-Year-Old Vampire. It's a really classic game. But Apothecaria is one that caught my eye a couple of years ago. And essentially, it is... it's basically like the Studio Ghibli's Kiki's Delivery Service, where you are a witch in training that has come to replace the old one in town after they've mysteriously disappeared. And you utilize cards, like drawn cards, to actually manifest what is happening in the game. So I have the PDF technically. I'm just making sure that I set up the screen in a better way here. So I own actually 2 physical copies of the game, as well as the PDF. But I thought it'd be a little more fun for me to read out of this. I'm not sure if this is really something that everyone's super terribly interested in, but it's something that I've been missing. And I kind of wanted to play a little bit today. It's a gray, rainy day. I wanted to think about some nice, cozy sort of fun. And if people stumble through by accident or the like, they're more than welcome. And we will go from there, I guess. Let me just make sure here that the category is properly updated. I want to make sure my stream info is good. Alright, cool. Well, so, allow me to read the beginning here. I'm also going to get a little bit of water, because I am a little funky in the throat right now. I'm also going to be keeping a eye here on the old work laptop, because, you know, gotta be responsible. So if I ever suddenly need to go on BRB, that's why. It's a quiet Friday, but it is a Friday, and I am still technically working. But this is just little things in the interim. Also, I keep receiving a message by accident. Some random person texted me from all the way out in LA. Guess they must have messed up a number or something. But anyway, Apothecaria. The introduction. If you're reading this, I'm probably missing. Or dead. Let's just hope missing. I wish I could be there to explain all this in person, but life takes unexpected paths. Hopefully this journal will be enough to guide you. So first up, welcome to High Rannoch. It's a nice place, even if the people can be a little disaster-prone. You'll be taking my place as village witch, and I'll be responsible for curing them of whatever injuries or diseases that they've managed to pick up for themselves. Thankfully, curing folks ain't that hard. Mostly just a matter of finding out what's wrong with them, and then check what reagents work for that. I don't know how much you've been taught afore, so don't be insulted if these instructions seem simple. So I'm going to write this out here. This is how we properly diagnose something. Step 1 of diagnosis. Draw a card and refer to the ailments list to see what the patient has. So this is where the cards come in. I also have a couple decks of cards, but I just figured it'd be a little more authentic and you all could see what's happening here on the screen. And I believe, technically speaking, just want to make sure that it's capturing my cursor. There we go. Now you can see on my screen where I'm clicking. Perfect, perfect. Anyway, step 2. Write down the patient's name, job, and ailment. This is also you can make fun of me in the chat about my spelling. Step 3. Make a note of the ailment's tags. So, as you'll all find out, there are a couple of different levels of different ailments that people in town of High Rannoch can get, and they have certain tags. How we solve that with potions or magic, you might ask, I'm getting to. Step 4. If the ailment has a time limit, typing, note that too. Step 5. Search the reagents list for at least 2 reagents that match the tags. So some reagents, magical elements out in the many, many biomes surrounding High Rannoch, those will help us find out what we're eventually going to have to build for people. Step 6. Choose which reagents to search for. And that's it. That's the easy bit. Now, you'll have to actually go and get the reagents. This is our mentor leaving us a note after their mysterious disappearance. Each reagent has a type and locale where it can be found. Reagent types are sorted as follows. Plant. These would be thorns, stems, leaves, mushrooms, sap, etc. Animals. Feathers, droppings, venom, hair, sometimes the whole critter, etc. Magic. These could be dreams, shadows, moonlight, song, etc. The locales you start with are going to be the forest, loch, mountain, and dungeon. Now there are 4 extra locales, but we will only gain passage to those when we become a more advanced witch. I've also marked each reagent's value. The higher the number, the harder it is to find. So depending on the season, its value will go up and it'll go down. That's about the easiest way to show these things, so hopefully it's clear enough. Let's look at how I do it from beginning to end. So this is a little example. First thing I would do is draw a card to see what the ailment is. Eventually we'll get to that, which is in the book, found on page 12. Today it's a case of phototropy, a curse that turns the afflicted into a monstrous hamster every full moon. This book is also very silly, and I very much appreciate it. Next, I determine who the afflicted is. How we do that will, in the book, be found on page 5. I decide it's Harkin Black, a lumberjack who sells firewood and lumber in the winter months and keeps to himself near enough the rest of the year. Folks dragged him in half naked and still squeaking, so it wasn't too hard to make the diagnosis. Phototropy is a curse, 1 star, and hair, 1 star, issue. So I check my reagents list and find that old blood and a wigfish wig will work. They aren't the only options, but they're easy enough to find this season. Old blood is found in Hero's Hollow, the dungeon, while the wigfish can only be found in the Meltwater Loch, the loch biome. So it's time to go foraging with a few steps. So now I'm going to write how to do foraging. So, foraging. Step 1. Note on a piece of scrap paper or with the track that you have 0 foraging points. 2. Draw a card and check the locale to see what happens. So wherever we go, there are going to be randomly generated events formed by the deck, and that will go from there. Resolve as appropriate. Step 3. Pardon me. Well, technically they say step 2.5, so I'm going to do A. If the card you drew is greater or, is equal or greater than the value of the reagent you are hunting for, you find it. Note that down. You can only find one reagent at a time. So for example, some reagents, if they're more common, will have a value of 2. If I draw, let's say, a 4 from the deck, that means I'm going to find the reagent. I'll still have to solve and figure out whatever the event is, but I technically find the reagent. However, I will note, I've played this game before. There are some events that sometimes say, you don't find the reagent, keep looking. So that's fun. And then there's a second step 2 and the other bit. If the card you drew is lower than the value of the reagent you are hunting for, gain 1 foraging point. The foraging points will come into play in now. Step 3. Once the foraging points are equal to or higher than the reagent's value, you automatically find the reagent you're searching for. Now, keep this in mind. I still can only find one at a time. So, step 4. If the ailment has a time limit, decrease it by 1. If the time limit reaches 0, the afflicted will suffer the consequence. The timer is also decreased after every event or locale shift. So that's something else to think in mind. So some of these conditions, they can be harmless and the patient can survive forever. They might get pissed that I've taken forever to make the potion, and then they might leave, and that could hurt my reputation in town. But there are some that are more deadly and can sometimes end up in being lethal conditions. So, time is of the essence. I don't want to take forever to get this person healed and safe. So if that's going to be the case, I need to make sure that I am using my time to the best of my ability. If I don't do that, my patient is going to eat the consequences. Step 5. Head home with the reagents, or repeat steps 2 through 4 if needed. So 2 through 4 is if I go to a different locale. Oh my goodness. Okay. Bunch of text messages this Friday. Alright. And then, with the potion reagents in hand, the last step is to prepare them into a potion. This is the last time I'm going to type something just for a minute. Promise. Potion prep. Step 1. Read the reagents prep notes and make up the method using the appropriate tool. Step 2, name the potion or magic and write down the recipe in the journal. Step 3, get paid depending on how well you did. See potions, page 5 for more. I'm also going to make sure to write down the pages here on these notes. Okay. That's page 5. That's page 12. Okay. All right. So, we have our method of how we diagnose the patient, go looking for ingredients, prep our potion or magic to help them. So there you go. All right. The advanced stuff. So we've covered the basics. How to diagnose, choose your reagents, forage, prepare your potion. But there are some extra things to be aware of. Number 1, changing locales. Moving from one locale to the other, as I said a little earlier, decreases a timer by 1. Changing locales also starts a new foraging track for that locale starting at 0 or higher if you have a familiar's ability. Later on, we might actually end up with a familiar. That's pretty fun. Consequences. Now, not every ailment has a consequence. For these, there's no punishment for taking your time. During ailments without a timer, though, you can explore at your leisure. Taking more than 13 turns will cause you to lose 1 reputation as you appear to be uncaring. See what I said? Now, if you take too long and the timer on an ailment hits 0, your reputation will likely drop and you'll face the consequence, whatever form that might take. So these are for when things get a little too dangerous. Reputation. Now, people in the village, monsters from around the wilds, and adventurers looking for help will be drawn to you as long as your reputation is good. Most folks will give you the benefit of the doubt, so you'll start with 5 reputation points, which makes you a novice. Every 10 points puts you up a level going from novice to intermediate to advanced to expert. So, level? Novice. 5 reputation points as of starting. Get the potion right, and you get a reputation point. That's how we get better. Once your reputation crosses over into a new level, you'll move up to these new, harder ailments. This is how the tiers of ailments appear. You can still choose to draw on the easier ailments, but you won't gain reputation from them. So, if I am just looking to farm some money, that might be a good way. The calendar. You start on the first week of spring. First week of spring. Each ailment and downtime counts as 1 week. Little note there. Counts as 1 week. Do any more than that, and you'll find them running to you for every little thing. So it's more me making sure I'm only allowed to work that much a week, because otherwise I'm going to be working around the clock, which just isn't a super fun thing. So, ailments explanation. Every ailment can be broken down into distinct parts, so let's look at the phototherapy ailment in more detail. Phototherapy. As you can sort of see right up here. Oh, pardon me. No, I was correct. Yes. There we are. Okay. For those reading along at home. During the full moon, the afflicted turns into a monstrous hamster and scurries about their home and village, nibbling on carts and walls. There is a timer of 6 for this, so I gotta move with some quickness here. It's a curse, which has 1 star, and a hare tag, which has 1 star. The consequences, they go on another rampage, I lose a reputation point, and describe the aftermath. So I have to describe how this poor were hamster destroys the village. Or, vandalizes it at the very least. So, this entry shows that you have to find reagents that match the curse and the hair tags in order to cure this patient. The star, the 1 star as I mentioned, refers to the tag's required potency. You must find a reagent with a star equal to or greater than the ailment's value. There will be some more costly potions or reagents I'll need to find, but those are for harder ailments. The timer shows how many turns I have to forage, but be careful, some events can cause you to decrease the time even faster, as I mentioned. The consequence is what happens if you do not find all the necessary ingredients within the timer, or if you make a potion that does not meet all of their requirements. So, potions. Normally completing a potion nets you 20 silver, but there are a couple of things that can affect the value. So this is important here. We'll add a note to this. There we go. Note. Successful potions earn 20 silver. And now a little extra importance here. Each point of poison in a potion, some reagents will instill poison and are a little toxic. Reduce rewards by 4 silver. And each point of sweetness, we can sweeten our potion too, increase rewards by 4 silver. A spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down, as they say. So, poison and sweet, thankfully, counteract each other, so a potion with 2 points of poison and 2 points of sweet count as having 0 of either, which nets the usual 20 silver. As it is expected, if a potion has 5 points of poison, the afflicted will not pay for it, and you will have to deal with the consequence and lose a point of reputation, so brew carefully. As your reputation rises, you'll start to gain more silver per potion. At intermediate, we'll gain 30 silver. At advanced, 40, and expert, 50 silver. So, now, it's a little important note from the author here, so I'm just going to read this out. Because, by the way, Apothecaria is a solo potion-making RPG, which was written by Anna Blackwell. She has a profile on itch.io, which is a really phenomenal website for solo indie game developers, for video games, for role-playing games, like books and RPGs in general, for puzzles, for artists, for a lot of great stuff. They regularly do great deals like Humble Bundle. Highly recommend going and checking that out. And for those who aren't as crazy about just true human RPGs like this, Anna Blackwell, I believe, also did a anthropomorphic animals-based one called Apothecaria. Paw, like P-A-W, like an animal paw. So that's kind of fun, too. Very cute. Probably great for kids, now that I think about it. So, food for thought. But anyway, from Anna, a note on how to play Apothecaria. This solo journaling game was inspired by films like Howl's Moving Castle, Spirited Away, and the Harry Potter series, TV shows like Little Witch Academia, My Little Pony, and Gravity Falls, as well as games like Stardew Valley and Theme Hospital. The goal isn't to win, as while there is an end point, so if we play this game long enough, we can get to the end of the year and something might happen. What matters most is the journey. As a journaling game, this is a great opportunity to let out your creativity and turn the ailments, reagents, and events in this zine into something that is uniquely yours. Answer questions creatively, misinterpret rules, go off and write stories about the characters you meet whenever you like. This journal is yours to do with as you please. The only limit I'm going to suggest is that in the first few places the game gives you the opportunity to have whatever you like, don't use it to sneakily gain tools and upgrades that you can purchase, otherwise you'll find yourself with less mechanical rewards waiting along the way. So with that said, I hope you enjoy. So what it's saying is Ethan, don't give yourself a cheat day. Work hard. And you know what? I will, Anna Blackwell. I will. Patience and patience. Now, there's no mechanical way to work out who the patient is and to do what you've got to just look at them and search your head. Are they from town? Are they a passer-through? Are they a monster? Much of the time, I find it helps to let them describe their ailment first. You get a good idea of who you're dealing with from there. In other words, it's your choice who you want to see. Although if you're feeling a little stuck, there is a little card draw that can never hurt. So if we draw a heart, we have a villager. If we draw a diamond, we have an adventurer. If we draw a club, we have a monster. And if we draw a spade, we have one of our repeat patients. Now, to determine what their ailment is, draw a card and check the ailments list. Remember, you can only take those that match your current reputation or lower. Tools. To make potions, you'll need a few handy tools. I've left you some in the cupboard. To start with, there should be, in our closet, we have a mortar and pestle to crush reagents, a cauldron to boil them, an alembic to distill them, and then there should be enough to get by, but eventually we're going to need some other tools. A sickle, which is 50 silver. That will increase our foraging points by 2 instead of 1 each time. A wand for 100 silver allows the collection of certain magic reagents. We'll get to that later. The athami, 80 silver, is needed in order to use the ritual circle in the village. The ritual circle we can use during downtime and perhaps to even summon a familiar, so that's fun. A broom costs 100 silver, which allows us to fly to one of the hidden locales, the Cloud Islands. And a coracle for 70 silver allows us to navigate the Blastfire Bog, another one of the locales. There are a couple others, like the Golem Helper, the Moonstone, the Mimic, and the Tourist Map. So, there are other upgrades we can get as well at our little home. I'm not sure how long I'll be gone for before they get someone out, so I've dismantled the hives, gave the fish tanks away, and put the animals back in their original habitats. I wish I could have left you some garden plots, but I never was good at growing things, so all you've got is the one that came with the house. Sorry about that. If you need anything built, there's folks in town that can make near enough anything you need. You can have multiple of each upgrade, but you might not gain an extra bonus for some, like how there's no point in having 2 spirit seals when one does the job. You may change what reagents are in an upgrade at the start of each season. So, there's a garden plot, a hive, a fish tank, a paddock, a basement hollow, a glimmerwood greenhouse, a meltwater pond, a mini mountain, a treatment room, a spare room, a spirit seal, a travel stone, and a raven loft. For my Curse of Strahd fans out there. Now, with that being said, there's also a familiar. So, a witch's familiar is their closest friend, their confidant, their anchor. A familiar is your tether to the real world while your mind is wandering the realms. A familiar is a privilege and a treasure, and, sorry, my familiar got a hold of the quill for a minute there. A bit egotistical and self-congratulatory, but what can you expect from a cat? A familiar is, simply put, a part of you. Treat them well, and you will have a friend for life. As a novice witch, you probably don't have a familiar yet, but seeing as you've been thrust into this, I recommend you get one soon. Either you find one, as many of us do, adopt one from a shelter, or perform the calling, which I will detail below. You may choose what form your familiar takes, or you may draw randomly from the choices below. Remember, this is a magical world, so don't be afraid to make your familiar wondrous if you wish to. Now, the calling ritual. Head out into nature, to whichever locale you feel most comfortable in, and create a circle of stones and flowers. Put your magic into them and sit in the center, and in time you will hear a voice calling to you. Answer it and guide your familiar to you. Write about this ritual in your journal. Okay. Now, I know it's just me right now, so I'm going to draw a card, as you can see. So, playing card shuffler. This form allows you to draw playing cards from randomly shuffled decks. The randomness comes from atmospheric noise, which for many purposes is better than the pseudo-random number algorithms typically used in computer programs. So, I will draw one card from a shuffled deck. I do not have any jokers. I do have aces. I have all of the face cards. And then 2 through 10. So, there we go. Show the remaining cards face down. Show cards as text instead of images. No. Alright, so let's draw a card. I'm just using random.org/playing cards. Here we go. Okay. The Queen of Spades. So that's fun. Cool. A queen. Ooh. This is a mythical familiar. This is actually really cool. So check this out. According to the chart here, if we drew an ace, we would have a rodent. If we drew a 2, we would have a raptor, like a, bird, a falcon of sorts. If we drew 3, we'd have an amphibian. 4 is a candid, a wolf or the like. 5 is a corvid, for my birdie fans out there. 6, a snake. 7, feline. 8, an insect. 9, a reptile. 10, a mount, like a horse. Jack would be one of the magics, so this could be a wisp, it could be a homunculus, it could be a spirit, and if we drew a queen or a king, it's a mythical familiar, like a dragon, a griffin, or a chimera. So, oh god, what sounds dope? Like this, at this point, this is just me. There's no other way to do that, so that's kind of fun. Okay. Oh man. Having like a little dragon as a familiar is kind of fucking sick. Like, yeah, let's do that. Okay. So, familiar. Awesome. I'm gonna say a dragon. Ooh, we need a dragon name generator. Okay. Dragon name generator. Alright, let's do that. Let's see what we get here. Okay. Imrit sounds kind of dope. I might just pick that one. It's my familiar. I ain't gonna let no cards dictate my fate. Thank you very much. Alright. Let's say Imrit. Dragon. Let's say what color is Imrit? Yeah, sure, we'll use a Dragonborn color generator. Alright, so we have these colors here. Let's use a dice roller. That's a D10. Alright, here we go. Alright, that's a 7. A green. Hey, that's pretty fun. Typically in D&D, green dragons are dicks, but, we're going to make ours not be that. So, all right. Dragon. I'm going to say Imrit. An emerald wyvern. I'm going to say a little bebe. Little bebe emerald wyvern. That'd be pretty sick. Named Imrit. Awesome. All right. And now that we have performed that, once we've settled into our home, and we still need to think about what we're going to eventually build in our garden plot, but we'll get there. Familiars aren't just good company. They're also very useful, as each familiar has a skill that will be helpful in your day-to-day witching duties. Unlike before, you may not choose which skill your familiar has, so I don't get to just pick. I could have just picked, but I left it up to the cards, so at the very least I gotta be honest here. Draw another card and check the list below. So there's a list of abilities here on page 11 for those following at home. And I'm going to draw another card, and we will see. Let's go back. One card from the deck. Draw cards. 10 of diamonds. Okay. So this is not by type, this is by number. Alright. Number 10 is a transport. Somehow, your familiar is able to ferry you between locales. Do not decrease timer when changing. Oh, hell yeah! You know what? I think our dragon, we use some magic to make them, you know, normally they're a little small, they can go around the wrist. Maybe when they come off like a magic rope or like Spider-Man, they get nice and big, and we can ride on them all the way through. Friggin' Studio Ghibli style, baby. That'd be dope. Yeah, like I don't want necessarily like a European dragon. Like I want a true Chinese dragon, with the tendrils coming off and everything. That'd be sick. Cool. Familiar ability. That's actually going to be really convenient because if we need to bounce between some places, you know, that'd be dope. Having a little bit of backup. But I'm also going to say, you know, I'm going to say that eventually Imrit, you know, that's like a really tiring process. So that way, for like locales like the mountain, homie can't just, you know, fly me to the very top because it'd be a little cheap. And also, he'll probably get too tired for that, or the wind's too strong normally. So he can get us low current. He's not going to be up like 800 feet in the air. It'll be like maybe 30 feet off the ground. He goes really fast like a cheetah, but on the ground, you know what I mean? All right, so 10, transport. Familiar can transport us between locales. Do not decrease timer when changing locales. That's actually really awesome. I like that quite a bit. Welcome to the party, Imrit. Alright, so with that, then it's just the reagents and all that. There's quite a few of them, actually. And then it's the, you know, what's... So it's the ailments, then it's the reagents and where they're located. Then exploration, once you have your shopping list and you've checked to see if your tools and upgrades have the reagents you need, you'll be ready to head out into the wilderness to forage. Pick a place to start. You can travel directly to these 4. This initial travel does not decrease the timer, so that's good to know. Once you've chosen a place to start, set the foraging value to 0. If there's a timer, draw a circle with that many segments. I recommend doing this on a piece of paper outside of your journal. I mean, we could just count the timer here on the screen. Maybe one day I'll think about doing that. But anyway. Step 1, read the event. Step 2, all of this. Yep, we've done all this. Unlocking special locales will happen once we have done certain events. Ooh, spooky. The village. The village of High Rannoch is a special place where you can visit freely to obtain some useful things you might otherwise be struggling to find. At any point during an ailment, you may decrease the timer by 1 to go to the village and visit the services detailed below, or you might want to explore the village to find the few special reagents that can be found there. So, downtime. Let me see. Did I miss anything else here? Nope. Okay, great. So, between ailments, you have some time to do as you please. If you wish to explore, visit the village, or spend time with the characters that you have met, make a timer with 6 segments. Each action decreases the timer by 1. You can forage while in downtime to try and ensure you have some extra reagents on hand, but each event decreases the timer by 1, with those few that delay you decreasing the timer again. Spending time with a character can be simple as saying you had dinner together, or it can be as complex as going on a short adventure into Hero's Hollow and facing down a terrible beast. Both count as 1, but neither grant you reagents, so can't use cool RP moments to gain extra benefits. During ailments without a timer, you can explore at your leisure, but taking more than 13 turns will cause you to lose 1 reputation as you appear lazy. Each ailment and downtime count as a week. Do any more than that, and you'll be finding them running to you for everything. So you start on the first week of spring, and the first festival you'll face is the Flower Festival. Good luck. It can get dramatic. So every 13 weeks, a season will end, and then we have all of the events here. So, with that, it's been a little bit of a setup. It's taken us, how long here? That's interesting. It's not even counting the time. Huh. Just want to make sure I'm properly streaming. I think I am. Yeah, I am. Well, here, I don't want to hear myself talk. I mean, I'm a very handsome man. I have lots of things going on. Been doing this for about 45 minutes. Okay, cool. So, with all of that in mind, now we should figure out who our first person is. Okay. Oh, I wrote Padge, not Page. Let's get that fixed, huh? Okay, cool. Draw a card and refer to the ailment list to see what the patient has. Okay. Okay. So we're starting with novice ailments. We need another card. I'm gonna write a whole section down here. Ailment number 1. Going back. All right. We're going to draw a card. You ready? Here we go. 2 of diamonds. 2. Phototherapy. Hey, there we go. We got a were hamster on our hands, baby. So, during the full moon, the afflicted turns into a monstrous hamster and scurries around their home and village, nibbling on carts and walls. The consequences, they go on another rampage, I lose reputation, and I have to describe the aftermath. So, phototherapy. This is affected by curse with 1 star and hair with 1 star. So I'm going to write this down. Phototherapy. That's curse 1, hair 1. The timer is 6. So, now for the villager affected, I can just use the diamond on our card to get that squared away. So they are an adventurer. All right, so let's think of an adventurer here. Should be, all right, patient number 1. So actually I should write down here. 2 of diamonds. So that the diamond, actually better yet, that's right, 2, and the diamond will be for the patient. Gonna say, let's do night name generator. Hey, I didn't know this existed. That's kind of fun. Let's see here. Arnold the Swift. I like that. Arnold the Swift. Alright. So, affected by the cursed bite of a rabid passing through horde of were hamsters. The just traveler, Sir Arnold, managed to protect a caravan of sheep shepherds but was unfortunately struck. Uh-oh. Is Is there a way for me not to... Okay. I don't want there to be a bunch of clips advertising games there. Let me remove that. Perfectly. But was unfortunately... I'll say... chewed on the hand. Thinking himself safe by his god's blessing, Arnold, unfortunately, woke up having chewed his favorite pillow to bits. Seeing Emrit and myself settling in to our former master's home, the proud knight begged for our aid to end his curse. Let's see. And now, I look for reagents that can end curse and hair. Now, we will have to see. So. Okay. This is going to be a minute here of me taking a look, so please be patient. Okay. So I see glitter snow. That's a magic ailment which treats curse. So that's an option. I'll write that down. Reagent options number 1. Glitter snow. Oh, should probably help if I actually showed what I was doing there. There we are. Glitter snow. That is. Alright. So I can visit... Which place is here again? I can visit the... I want to make sure I have this right. Okay. Got it. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Alright. So I just, this is where the book gets a little difficult to read, because every now and again it's like, go to this locale, except... There we are. Okay. So I want to make sure I write these down because this is important. Locales available. Grove. Forest. The lock for the lock. The mountain for the mountain. And the hollow for the dungeon. Got it. So we'll unlock those other 4 potentially later on down the line, but we'll see. Alright. Back to here we are. So glitter snow. It's easier to find... obviously in the winter, harder to find in the summer. So it is curse and magic 2 stars. Forest, it is a 9. On the mountain, it is a 4. So that's -5 in winter. So that means we would subtract 5 from the value needed of the card to find it. So it would be a 4 in the forest, or we'd find it pretty much instantly on the mountain. Or +5 in summer. Obviously, it would be nigh impossible to find in the forest in the summertime, not on the mountain. So there you go. Now, back to it. Parasite sleep. Okay. Same thing with the amethyst antlers. Oh boy. But it's a forest 11. That's also a 3-star. That's really hard to find. I don't think we're gonna... I want to be optimistic, but I'm gonna tell you right now, folks, I don't think we're gonna end up finding it. The lock. Let's see here. That's for blood. Because we're looking for curse and hair. That's what we need here. So we're looking for reagents that we can find with relative ease. Mood and senses, nerves and pain, boils, rash, burn, pain, blood, infection, teeth, mouth, lungs, mood, sleep, and hair. So after we find one wigfish, it becomes pretty damn impossible to find another one for the rest of the season. So it's not something found normally in bountiful supply. Wouldn't really recommend looking for that. Fossil fish, also pretty much damn near impossible to find. Siren Song requires a wand to collect. Can't get that. Some of these are hard. They really are. Okay. I could work with that. So at the lock, Mermaid's Gift. Mermaid's Gift is... That's added raw. This is boiled for hair. Add 1 point of poison, unfortunately. So maybe a little sweetness. We'll see if we can add that in later. But at the lock, ooh, and this is hair 2, actually. This requires a 6, or pardon me, a 5. So not terribly hard, but still. I say that now, watch me end up taking forever to find it, and Sir Arnold ends up destroying a lot of stuff in town. On the mountain. That's teeth and pain, senses and magic. Stomach, cold. It has candy rock, which adds 4 points of sweet. If I needed it, that's something to think about. That's magic and curse. That's rash. That's boiled for pain, blood, and curse. Alright, in the dungeon, Hero's Hollow. Let's see. Now, there's a big thing here with potions. While there is no ill effect to healing tags that a patient doesn't have, it is rather amateurish. If you can heal all of the patient's tags and nothing more, you gain 1 extra reputation point, though this isn't always possible. So, whenever a reagent has multiple parts, you can only choose 1 to add. So some of these have multiple tags. There's no penalty for me adding more than I need in and curing more than I need. But it also certainly doesn't hurt to, get an extra reputation point, level up a little sooner. You know what I mean? Hero's Hollow. So really I'm looking for something that just focuses on curse. Ooh. Okay. So we have some options here. For curse, we have Ghost Goo, This can be boiled for spirit and curse. It is a 3-star. That's pretty good. It's also not that hard to find, to be perfectly honest. Ghost goo. That is boiled for spirit and curse. Oh, not spurt! For spurt! You had it for the spurt, baby! Yeah, you get it. You get the spurt. 3. And this is found in the dungeon for 6. Food for thought. Okay, and an important thing to note, -2 in the winter. It's even easier to find in the wintertime. So that could be an idea. Vampire venom. That could be pretty cool. So, let's see here. If we can distilled, which we can do, that is curse alone for 3, which would be perfect. Curse 3. Oh, but here's the problem. Dungeon 10. That is hard. That's a lot of time we don't necessarily have. And just as another fun option here, weird water. Worder. So, adding that raw for any tag of our choice. For 3. Now, damn. So we can't get there yet, actually. That's one of the locked off locales. But that is a powerful reagent. Like, crazy powerful. Okay. So the thing is, do we have anything here for hair? Okay, we have skeleton dust. That is hair. Is there anything else here for hair? Salamander urine is also addable. Okay. We just need something for hair. If we could go straight to the dungeon, that would be pretty solid. Okay, so skeleton dust is our only option there. So we're not going to probably get an extra reputation point. But I think that's okay. You know? Like, if we only have to go to one locale and we have a specific time set, that's important. Okay, so. Yeah. So that way we don't have to worry about that. We don't have to worry about any of these. I mean... Nah, just go to the dungeon. Okay, so if that's gonna be the case, ghost goo is good. It comes before that, so let's do skeleton dust. That can be crushed for teeth. Bones and hair for 2. Alright, so that's good to know. And this is Dungeon 5. And if we have a little extra time, because why not? Salamander urine. Probably not super fun to get, you know, into a bottle, but that is a pretty powerful element here. So that would be boiled for hot or That would be hot 3. Or added raw for cold 3. Let me double check here. Pardon me. The texts never stop. I'm a popular man. Just dancing around on a Friday with all of you. Anyway. Okay, and this is Dungeon 8. So this one's a little harder, but add 1 point of sweet. So that's good to know. Now, just want to check something here. Okay. So no matter what, a point of poison or a point of sweet gets added regardless. But it does add those tags. So there are some reagents that only add points of stuff, but they're a little harder to come across. So, sounds to me like we're going to Heroes Hollow, hunting for some stuff. So if that's going to be the case, we cannot focus on that right now. Sorry about the white. I know it's not everybody's favorite, but, you know. I know there are ways to edit. Alright, format. I'll strike that. And I'm also going to strike these. So, we are looking for... I know just based on the fact that, like, this thing is here. It's not everybody's favorite. Here, I'll put dark mode back on. Don't want anyone in the chat freaking out. I actually don't mind light mode, but I know that kind of makes me a little psycho. So, you know, sorry about that, I guess. Just checking 1 or 2 things. Alright, so, heading on our way to Heroes Hollow. I'm going to put that down here. And let's get rid of that. There we are. So we get to Heroes Hollow, and now, just to refer back to these steps, foraging. So now we need to set the track to 0. Foraging track 0. Also, we need to set the timer. Timer 0 out of 6 before there's an issue. Foraging track is at 0, baby. Alright. And now, we need to draw a card and check the locale to see what happens. So I need to flip the book here to Heroes Hollow. Behind the cliff-sized skull of an ancient beast lies the twisting tunnels, tombs, and caverns known as Heroes Hollow, a dungeon that has grown throughout the eons under the rule of countless keepers. While it's mostly ruins, there are still plenty of things to find down beneath the ground. Children from the village often dare each other to go inside. Anyway. So, let's draw a card. Okay. Draw a card. A 4. I don't think that helped us. Son of a bitch. Okay. Well, that's fine. Alright. Card number 1. 4 diamonds. So, you stumble upon a little shop of sorts run by a small, furry creature. We found an Ewok! I'm just saying. It gestures excitedly towards its collection of goods, which range from rings to swords to journals, and asks to trade. What do I give, and what do I get? Well, I'm gonna say, looking to one another. How do I spell my dragon's name here? Imrit. Imrit and I were suspicious initially of the bestial salesman. Gargleneck. That's what I'm gonna call him. Gargleneck. It's my first mention of a new character, so I'm going to hit it with all the fun. And then, oh right, I can also just hit that. We procured for a trade of holy water and powdered silver some plants which can only grow in the sunshine, which the teensy troll could never enter, as well as some missing children's teeth, because I'm a witch. So there you go. That's what happens, kids. There ain't no tooth fairy. It's just little witches sneaking around, grabbing your teeth. Anyway. Alright. Well, unfortunately, timer goes up. But so does the foraging track. So I add 1 to all future draws. Now, we're going to go again. We're not doing a fresh deck. We keep going. Again. Okay. Hold on a minute. Okay. So it says that, but if I hit again, wouldn't it? Okay. Alright. So it's being a little funky. I don't really love that very much. But, well, what can you do? Alright, here we go. A 6! Hey, that's better. So we get to choose which of these values we could find. Skeleton dust. We could find ghost goo. Skeleton dust is easier to find, so I'm going to say we found ghost goo here in a sec. But, event number 6. The ground gives way beneath you, dropping into a smooth stone chute, which drops you into a cell somewhere in the depths of the dungeon. Thankfully, the lock isn't too hard to pick. Decrease the timer by 1. Fuck. So, that is not 2, but 3. Card number 2 is a 6 of spades. All right. After surviving the perilous seeming drop into the dark, after my eyes adjusted to match my familiar's much better dark vision, we found ourselves in a forgotten asylum for prisoners of armies long since forgotten and past. Likely not even the necromancer who once ruled this place no longer still roams the dusty halls. And so, without hesitation or quiet, we picked Imrit, melted the lock, because he's a green dragon. Acid, baby! And we escaped. Now, how do we get back to where we were? Oh! Look! Ghost goo! So... Ghost goo acquired. That's one of the two things we need, so that's good. Alright. Now... the foraging track adds a 2. Yeah, we don't need to worry about that. Alright, here we go. Again. A 9 of hearts. Now we're talking. Card number 3. 9 hearts. While wandering in the deeper sections of the dungeon, you come across a scared-looking newbie adventurer. They offer 10 silver for you to lead them out of the dungeon. Decrease the timer by 1 if you do. Well, seeing as we found everything we needed, because we are also definitely going to find that skeleton dust. Alright. Finding our way up from the sub-basement of the dungeons. My familiar and I were greeted by the hapless skeleton dust coated face of a poor squire that Sir say Lady Irwin or some other name. Boy, was this chap chatty. Had abandoned during a scuffle with some errant goblins, offering to help the screaming squire out of the hole. What was their name again? Tilbury? Dilbert? Scurrier? In exchange for a thorough dusting of their person for our final reagent, Imrit, Tilbury, and myself finally caught the setting sun. I'll say caught the sun settling behind. Oh, also here. Make sure you all can see this magical tale that we are typing together. Finally caught the sun settling behind. What is that mountain called again? Moonbreaker Mountain. With a weary smile on our faces, my pet and I offered to bring the poor chap back to High Rannoch before quickly hurrying back to treat Sir Arnold. So, with that, skeleton dust. How did I write it? There we are. Skeleton dust acquired. Alright. So to get him out, decrease the timer by 1. So that would go 4 and 5, actually. So, to switch locales would normally bring us over time to get to the village. But guess what it doesn't do because of our familiars? Travel ability. The transport ability, pardon me. So perfect. Mwah! Glorious. So literally, if it wasn't for Emrit, we would have failed this. That's awesome. I love this familiar. I love that it's a dragon. That is so cool. Yes. Okay. Now. So that is. Let me. Whoa. Oh my goodness. You know what? Here. Is there a way to. Okay. Let me also settle that over here. And I'm going to highlight this yellow. There we are. Completed. And I'm also going to say, because we got him out. You're right, 10 silver. 10 silver acquired. That's what Tilbury offered to us as well. So, completed. We saved a man. And now to help Sir Arnold. So, let me see here. Potion time. This does not need to be highlighted. Alright. And now, let us help Sir Arnold. So, let us read the details of our cool ingredients one more time, shall we? Skeleton dust. While regular skeletons do work, those reanimated through necromantic rituals are better, as the residual magic keeps their bones strong for longer, which is what you want. Little pro tip. That's what you're looking for. Yeah, that's how you know the product's good. And then ghost goo. Messy creatures by nature, ghosts leave a thick, glowing goo behind wherever they touch certain objects. Usually those that in some way resonate with who they were when they were alive. So, there was a filthy weeb, and I found a ancient body pillow down in the dungeon. I'm a dork. I'm a dork. Anyway. Alright. Let's see here. Want to make sure I did that. Alright. Very good. And now, make sure I read this right here. I know all of that. I know all of that. Potions. There we go. Oh. Right, but I'd like to... There we go. I mean, I wrote this down. I just want to make sure there wasn't anything else here. Okay. So, getting back to potion prep. Now the appropriate tools are needed. Then we have to name it after we have prepped all of these things. So, ghost goo needs to be boiled. And skeleton dust needs to be crushed. Alright. For phototherapy, let's say... chipped monk. That's what I'm going to call this potion. Step 1. Boil fresh ghost goo in... And what are my tools again? Just want to make sure I'm reading this correctly. In cauldron. I'm going to write this in capitals. Goo in cauldron over low flame for 1 hour. 2. While goo, I'm gonna say until goo turns from cloudy to clear. Diamond-like color. While the goo boils, we need our mix equal parts room temperature water and skeleton dust into a fine paste via a mortar and pestle. Continue until mixture is bubbling. Once goo has reached desired reagent quality, pour immediately into bubbling mortar. Bottle, let's say, allow 3 minutes to settle. Gosh. Where are the 3 chipmunks again? I know it's Alvin, Stan, and what is it, Linus? 3 chipmunks. I know I'm bad. Who's the 3rd chipmunk? Theodore! No, I was wrong. Alvin, Simon, and Theodore. 3 minutes to settle. After each minute, clang, gong, and say one of 3 magic words. Alvis, Simus, Theodorus. Have patient drink half bottle immediately, then the other half at midnight on the next full moon. Curse will then be lifted. Hey, there it is. Chipmunked. Our first potion, everyone. Step 1. Boil fresh ghost goo in cauldron over low flame for 1 hour until goo burns from cloudy to clear, diamond-like color. Step 2. While the goo boils, mix equal parts room temperature water and skeleton dust into a fine paste via a mortar and pestle. Continue until the mixture is bubbling. Step 3. Once the goo has reached desired reagent quality, pour immediately into a bubbling mortar, allowing 3 minutes to settle. After each minute, clang gong and clang a tiny gong and say one of the 3 magic words in order. Albus, Simus, Theodorus. Have patient drink half bottle immediately, then the other half at midnight on the next full moon. The curse will then be lifted. I'm going to write this down. Requires ghost goo and skeleton dust. So this cures, just to be clear, spirit, and I want to say oh, no, this one. Oh yeah, ghost goo is for spirit, 2, curse, 2. Oh, no, pardon me. Ghost goo is for 3. Skeleton dust is for teeth, 2, bones, 2, and hair, 2. So it cures spirit, curse, teeth, bones, and hair. Affliction cured. Timer. 5 out of 6. Sir Arnold appeared naturally nervous to try our first concoction after using implements that did not initially belong to us, that is. But after quaffing the first half of the chipped monk elixir, the do-goody knight felt a exemplary spring in his step, offering us our pay and promising to speak fine words to passers by of the new witch of High Rannoch, the bumbling traveler continued out into the fields, ready to fight more injustice. And with that, Emrit and I settled down for the night with a lovely pot of Darjeeling tea. Welcome to High Rannoch. Rewards. I ought to put that under the timer here. 10 silver. There was no poison, so that's good. There was no sweetness. That's alright. And 1 reputation point. We did not gain the bonus because we cured more than was necessary. So now we are at 6 points. Still making us a novice. But with that, that's our first one done. How about that, you guys? That felt pretty good. Honestly, big fan. It has been a while since I played Apothecaria. I've been meaning to do it for a hot minute now. Yeah, I played this a lot when Sarah was alive. I actually wrote it down in a very cute journal full of mushrooms. I ended up finding some cool monsters out at the lock, including a beautiful siren who was crushing on a very lonely female giant on the beach who was getting drunk because she could not think of poetry beautiful enough to try and woo the siren. Especially, she was a little too scared to swim across the lake because there was a dangerous dragon deep below. But I helped the lovers come together. There's just little cute things you can do in this with these recurring characters. Maybe later on down the line I will find this Lady Irwin or this character Tilbury. Maybe I will find a way to eventually help that furry salesman Garglenack eventually walk amongst the sun. There are little things here, and I should highlight and bold these names so that way I remember who people are. And I think that's this game is delightful. I really recommend, if you get a chance and you have the means, it is a beautiful game which deserves more playtime and certainly more, just certainly more love than I've seen it get before. I don't need it striked through. I need it italicized. There we go. Great. Well, for now, I could play another one. I think I'm going to finish up my work day, be a good responsible adult. I might play a little bit more of this later on this weekend. Kind of sounds fun. I might do it even later tonight. Just little things. Either way, really appreciate people popping in. Yeah, it's been a lovely little experiment. So until next time, hope everyone has a great Friday afternoon, and I will talk to you all later. Okay, see ya.